Joining us with more are MSNBC political analyst Pat Buchanan and Rachel Maddow. Rachel is also the host of the Rachel Maddow Show on Air America Radio. Good morning to both of you.
Hi, Amy.
Rachel, Hillary Clinton is expected to lose Hawaii, and if the latest polls hold up, she may lose Wisconsin as well. That, of course, would have her losing 10 straight contests to Barack Obama. So even her campaign says she needs to win Ohio and Texas. Is that too little too late at this point for her?
Well, the Democrats allocate all of their delegates for the convention on a proportional basis. So if she can avoid getting blown out in Wisconsin, that would help. Heading into Ohio and Texas with another blowout on her hands just can't be good in terms of the overall momentum for her.
Yeah, and Pat, I want to talk a little bit about the Republicans as well, because Texas is going to be the state to watch on the Republican side. As Lee mentioned, former President George Bush is planning to endorse John McCain on Monday, hopefully giving him some of those conservative votes that he's been lacking, at least at this point. Even though McCain is essentially the nominee, he still has to be careful of Huckabee, correct?
He certainly does, and George H.W. Bush is widely respected in the party, but that doesn't help McCain with his conservative problem. And there's one poll that shows Mike Huckabee down there 4 points behind McCain. If he did anything like that in Texas, it would be a humiliation, and the message would go out to the country that the conservative movement in the Republican Party really doesn't want John McCain, and it is unhappy with the direction in which the party's going.
Rachel, let's talk about this article in the New York Times today talking about the potential Democratic split at the convention. A lot of the senior Democrats trying to avoid it. People like Al Gore, Nancy Pelosi, John Edwards remaining neutral at this point. And the big concern is that there's going to be this perception, and perhaps it's even a reality, that there's some sort of a backdoor deal going on, that the superdelegates, the 796 superdelegates, are indeed going to pick the Democratic nominee. Yeah. How do you avoid that, and what does that do to the party?
Well, the party has to figure out some way to avoid it, because I'm telling you, as Pat pointed out, there's a real concern in the Republican side about the base turning out for John McCain. The Democrats have a huge number of advantages heading into November, not only on turnout and enthusiasm and respect for their nominees, but also just on policy issues, on big issues like the war and the Constitution. The one way the Democrats could really blow it is by getting bogged down in some big, stupid process fight that makes Democrats feel like they don't really trust the process by which their nominee got picked. It's the one way the Democrats could truly shoot themselves in the foot. This vestigial organ of this leftover superdelegates process that nobody can defend, they really have to jettison it before it becomes the biggest problem the party faces this year.
Amy, let me tell you, if Barack Obama wins the pledged delegate votes and the popular votes, and those superdelegates try to take this nomination away from him, this will be Chicago 1968 inside the hall. And if they do take it away from him, I think that will turn off the entire Obama movement, and I think that will put at risk the presidency for the Democratic Party. Hillary Clinton winning that way, I don't think, is a credible candidate in the fall.
Well, and it's interesting because of this huge fight between the two in the media, Hillary Clinton supporters and the Hillary Clinton campaign is pointing the finger directly at the media, saying they have been harder on Hillary Clinton than we've been on Barack Obama, that there's a double standard, so to speak, and I want to get both of your impressions on that. Is it true? And Pat, I'll begin with you.
It certainly is true. I think a lot of the media are not closet Obamacans. They're out of the closet, and they're all for Obama. They're enthusiastic. They're caught up in the movement, as they have been in the past, like Bobby Kennedy's movement, Jack Kennedy's movement, and other things. And I do think they've been exceedingly rough on Hillary Rodham Clinton. I think before New Hampshire, they were almost gloating over the defeat and the fall of the House of Clinton. And a backlash against the media, frankly, is one reason, I think, why she won New Hampshire. And they are building up for another one. I think it's going to be very tough for her to come back, but if there's one thing that can do it, it's the bias, I think, of the national media.
Rachel, have we given Barack Obama a pass?
I think that the media, and a lot of the country more broadly, and people in my personal life certainly I feel this way, are really interested in Barack Obama because he's a new guy on the scene. He brings a lot of new dynamics to the race. It's not just that he would be the first African-American president, is that he's a whole new he's a whole new bundle of things to talk about in terms of presidential politics and Democratic politics. I absolutely think that the media is enthralled with Obama, but when it comes down to it, it's not the New York Times editorial board or I guess in other cases, the cable news networks who are going to be those superdelegates deciding who the nominee is.
Yeah, but it's interesting too because you have Barack Obama's campaign still trying to paint him as the underdog. It may or may not be the case, but the reality is if you look at the numbers right now, he is the front runner. Do you think given that status over the next couple of weeks, he may be facing more scrutiny?
I don't think he's going to get the scrutiny, quite frankly, that he really deserves. He will get it, I'll tell you when he's the nominee or when he moves out ahead of Hillary and looks like the winner, because the Republican Party is not going to, cuddle baby Barack. They are going after him. They will define him, Amy. All these things that have been ignored will be brought out, and there's an awful lot there. And I think a lot of Democrats are exceedingly nervous about the free ride Barack has been given, whereas Hillary is right. She has been vetted to a T.
And not necessarily a happy, cozy relationship between John McCain and Barack Obama.
No, there's been a history between them in the Senate. Even in the short time that Barack Obama has been in the Senate, he's found time there to clash personally and publicly with John McCain. So we know that the two of them have a history between them. And we know that, when Pat says that Democrats are worried about what's going to be exposed about Barack Obama, frankly, his public service career isn't so long that we think there's a lot hidden in it. What I think Democrats are worried about is that he's just going to be slimed. And then the worry is whether or not he's ever been tested against that kind of a slime machine. Running against Alan Keyes in Illinois doesn't really count as being tested. All
right, we gotta go. Rachel Maddow, Pat, you always try to get the last word. I gotta end it here. Pat Buchanan, Rachel Maddow.
McCain will fight with anybody, Amy.
All right, you got it. Thank you.
He won.